Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's no longer Kafa, and it's no longer Rafus. Unfortunately, I have tired out those two personas. The smoothie as the Rafus has bit the dust. But I want to thank everyone at home for putting up with my shenanigans, and also I want to thank my casters as I bring them in back with me. Thank you for putting up with my own hosting shenanigans as I tried to live up to the task. Kangas, your job is hard. I have a lot of respect for you and
the recognition.
Like, I thought that, oh yeah, these guys, they do their things and they don't do anything in between games. I spent my whole time trying to prep for this next segment, and every single segment beforehand, I don't get a time to really like pay attention to the game that much. And so I'm not seeing all the details. So yeah, much respect to you, Kangas.
I had a chat with Dash from, of course, LCS before the season started. I think Mazel's had chats with him too. It's just thoughts and, you know, ways to iterate on hosting. And yeah, hosts don't get enough respect, everybody. Bottom line, come on. This is tough work. You know, we do things too.
Yeah,
I know we can like have snacks and drink water during games, but
I wish that was the case. The only snack I had was actually the remaining FlyQuest smoothie that I had. You know,
you finished it?
Almost. I've just been sipping on it because I don't have time to make anything else. But it's okay. Now, I do want to pivot to a new segment that I wanted to bring in specifically as a host for today, and maybe you or Mazel can pick it up, you know, later as we go into next season. I'm calling it Sound Check. And now, for anyone who has never played a game like Hurdle before, this is basically where I'm going to play a clip from a team fight or a part in the game.
Oh no!
I'm going to start out with only 1 second. See if you can guess at which point what is happening in the game at that point. If you can't guess it off of 1 second, we're gonna go to 3 seconds.
Rafa, I couldn't do this with pictures. How am I gonna do this with sound?
Kangas,
Look,
I'm.
The problem is it's just gonna be us going Spyrex, Spyrex, Spyrex.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta listen for auditory cues. I am training your ears so that it makes you better talent as you react to things in the game as well. So, without further ado, let me prepare the first one. I'm going to also ask production to just slightly turn down the music so I can play the clip through as well, and we can make sure that you guys
Production's trying to make it harder for us. They're like, nah, we're going to mask the sounds, make it even more difficult.
All right. Tell me if you hear this. This is 1 second of our first clip.
You hear
Phillips? I heard my voice. I heard Philip. Wait, are we taking turns guessing, or is this like a group game?
It's collaborative.
Okay. So the things I heard was, I said Yuji's here, and you said Philip.
And I heard gold. So somebody's farming. Somebody's in a wave.
Yuji's here.
Deductive.
Would that have been the first gank? We had an early gank topside, right? I'm trying to remember.
Did,
oh no, this is would this no, not the invade. No, there's no way that that's the invade.
I feel like it has to be some flank that Yuji went for during the regular game.
I don't know if I can get off of 1 second though. Do we move
I don't
on
think
to
I
3
can do
seconds?
1 second. Yeah, let's get a couple more seconds.
All right, we're gonna bump it to 3 seconds.
He's here.
Phillips buying time. Yuji's nearby. Chad goes back in on. Okay, so it's a team fight. There's a lot of people there, or at least a skirmish.
Yeah. Phillips buying time. Yuji's here.
What? So I think when I said Phillips buying time, it was one of the times where Philip was just kind of like face tanking so that everybody else from FlyQuest could make it there. I think it was around the mid lane. Was it in like mid lane? I'm gonna say third dragon. I feel like that's probably around when this happened, if my memory serves me right.
I like that guess.
All right, that's a very vague one, Rafa, but does it count?
That is not correct. But I appreciate the guess. All right, 10 seconds.
Full 10 seconds? Okay. Let's see if we can do it.
Buying time. Yuji's nearby. Chad goes back in onto Philip. The tanky Scion is staying alive. Now focus onto Yuji. They're splitting their damage right now. Go back onto Philip. Try and get the Scion down. He's got the passive, so it's dangerous, though.
It's the 2v2 top. It's the 2v2 top lane. I said they're splitting the damage, and that's, they didn't want to kill the Scion because he was going to go into his passive and then be able to come back and still output damage. But it's also hard to kill the Lee Sin because he's lifestealing. Immortals just didn't quite like make the right decision in the moment.
Yeah. Oh, that's it. That's the big thing, is recognizing the splitting damage. Because I definitely thought it was going to be a situation where Philip was standing right in front of the entire team. But
right. Yeah.
Not it.
Okay, right. Good stuff, you know.
I like this game, though. This is good. This is fun.
All right. Now, here we go. You're gonna like this one, Kangas.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
All right, 1 second. Big. And it's Tomo.
Wait, what?
Is this... Okay, there are two places I can think of. The first one I have to think of is the triple kill, where Philip comes in from like the really long flank from bottom lane, and then Tomo jumps over the wall to pick up one person and eventually chases people down. Let's go!
1 second, let's
Play
go!
the clip.
Let's go!
That is it. I just was laughing my butt off when I just heard. I'm like looking around and checking Discord messages and getting the segment, and then I just hear, and that's big. I'm like, what just happened? So I had to go back.
It's this side ultimate. Look at this. Like,
Yeah.
the fight looks like it's going Immortals' way, but then boom! Philip's just right there.
Now, the surprising thing about this fight, I thought, okay, yeah, FlyQuest just win this fight. But yeah, as we see the clip play out, it actually finds Immortals being able to trade some back because Philip and Sparks stay a little too long here.
Yeah, Spyrex hits that charm, but then Tomo's not there to actually output damage, because Tomo's trying to, like, stop them from escaping to the tier 2.
Right, it's the exact same problem that Immortals had in the very first clip, right? They were splitting damage, they're hitting different people. And at the very end, they just end up, you know, it's the really long flank when they find Spyrax. And I feel like that's one of the big targets, is like, who are you hitting? Is everybody hitting the right person?
Yeah, Chad's, like, smoke bomb there at the end, too, just, like, hiding in the brush. He's like, where'd he go? Did he go left? Did he go right?
The big thing about all this is that Immortals, even though that FlyQuest are starting to net kills and gain momentum, they're still keeping themselves in there. However, on this next clip, I found this funny because here, this is 1 second of the third clip.
Okay.
Immortals, they were.
Well, something big obviously happened.
Sounds like I'm about to be disappointed in Immortals based on.
Wait, can I hear it one more
The funny
time?
part is just Joshi going, huh? Just in
Can
the
I hear? Can I hear it
background.
one more time?
Yeah, one more time.
Yeah. Immortals, they were competing for that.
They were competing for. When did I say they were competing for? Oh, it was. Was that the shutdown? Was that the big shutdown on the Tomo? Because they were competing for the shutdown, and then I think it was Concept that got it in that fight. Oh, no. When I said that one, it's when they were competing for the shutdown, but like something about the shutdown found them. That's when Tomo gets, what, the second double kill? Or like the other play afterwards.
Tomo just runs down Immortals Academy in the quadrant, and Joshi says something along the lines of, hey, you can't be here. Yeah, I see it, just a lone mage by himself, and now there's a lone AD carry by himself, and they...
Yeah, I mean, I was really impressed with the way that Tomo was able to play most of this game, right? He was, when the rest of his team was able to just create space for him, he was choosing the right targets. But eventually, one of the big things that you have to pay attention to as these kind of AD carries is how far can you actually push yourself? And Tomo, you know, he was able to find this big advantage, but he pushed himself a little bit too far, and that's where Spyrex is coming in. Is like, don't worry, Tomo, I got you. Yeah,
and going on Spyrex, I didn't even notice that entire replay. I was watching Tomo during the game and during the replay. Spyrex actually just runs around Chad and stays alive for so long. That was really good from Spyrex too.
All right, well, we have time for one more clip, one last clip. Here's the first second.
Let's hear it.
Spyrex lays the charm into.
Oh, that one's easy. Josh, you want it?
wait, one more time. I think I heard it, but okay. I think I heard Spyrex fight his way onto Turtle, which to me says it's when he comes around the Raptor bush and just finds the charm over the wall, and they end up getting the route, like the total route of the fight.
That was my guess.
There it is.
Okay.
That is Zib.
Oh,
I'm so sorry, production. I am so sorry.
This isn't when he teleports in and gets it.
Whoops.
This is when Tomo died. Wait, we're not supposed to show this one, right?
Yeah. Scrub the tape.
I thought when they said, okay, this last clip's like, okay, we are skipping to the very last clip since we only had time for one more. But the clip that I played to you was the correct one, Kangas and Josh.
Okay. All right, let's take a look at the actual last one then, right?
Here we go.
Here we go. This is the big thing, right? And I feel like Spyrex, his ability to mark the opposing carries on the side of Immortals has been absolutely ridiculous throughout this series. It's something where he felt like one of these people that needed to be this big leader, but when he's free to just make his own plays and lock down individual targets, he's really stepped up and is allowing the rest of his team to do their jobs around him. And I feel like that's one of the biggest points of growth we've seen from this guy this entire season.
Spyrax has been absolutely impressing me throughout the entirety of spring. He had the rough couple of first weeks, but ever since, I think it was a series against CLG of all teams that he was able to bring it back, because we got the music back in here. Man, this is so much fun. But yeah, Spyrax's just decision-making in these big moments has been very impressive, and I love to see the growth of the player.
I mean, FlyQuest overall has been a team that has shown us so much surprising development within such a short span of one spring split and even throughout Proving Grounds. Remember, this is a team that has come from the play-in stage and has been running the lower bracket ever since, and now they are on the brink of match point of being able to take out Immortals Academy, advance to the next stage where they would take on the winner of Cloud9 Academy and 100 Thieves Academy tomorrow. So this could be do or die, the very last game for Immortals and FlyQuest, or it could be us going to a Game 5 of Immortals come through in the end. So Kangas, take it away.
I'll take it, Rafa. Thank you for bestowing this honor upon me. Fun fact there as well, Joshi, FlyQuest have only dropped a series to Team Liquid Academy, who are in the grand finals. They won the upper bracket finals. The only series they have dropped is against the raid boss of all of Proving Grounds. And I think we're starting to see why they found so much success against all the other teams.
Yeah, I mean, they slapped around 100 Thieves next. It was honestly not super close. And what we were kind of expecting 100 Thieves next to be better than a lot of our Academy teams. FlyQuest was like, we might be one of the lowest seeded Academy teams going into this tournament, but we are going to step it up. And one of the things that I kind of want to look at with that is, as we've been slowly unveiling our MVP candidates, and again, most valuable prospect, who we think is going to have the best effect on a team over the course of the next 2 years, if we got to base it off of Proving Grounds, I feel like Spyrax would suddenly be in that conversation, but I feel like, over the course of the regular season, this development for that award came too late, but it's coming at the perfect time for the actual tournament.
It's always tough when you have these season awards that you're giving out during a tournament like Proving Grounds, but then the players in Proving Grounds are having these insane performances because it's like, well, did they get scrubbed? Like, what happened to them in the record? Well, Spyrax is having an incredible tournament run so far. Let's see how they continue that going as we are into pick and ban now. Joshi, Lee Sin, prioritized for FlyQuest, and Immortals, they're right back to that Jinx for Wild Turtle, but they have the Diana this time.
Yeah, very interesting. And so Chad has had a lot of freedom to push around UG early on in the game, right? He's gone for 2 invades, he got the 1 ward in the first game, and this is again the Lee Sin, and Chad says, yeah, this guy doesn't ward early on. You can't as the Lee Sin. So this is an opportunity for Chad to kind of prove himself right.
Right back to the Ahri for Spyrax, everybody. The music's fitting the tone right now. Get your cat jams in the chat right now because FlyQuest are running back Spyrax on maybe just his signature pick at this point in the tournament. I think we can say that based on the recent performances.
But pretty. Going to be throwing it right on back to Diana Yasuo coming through on the side of Immortals. And there are a couple teams that have been willing to experiment with this. And so far, Pretty hasn't done it. It has been something where Spyrax and UG have played this combo, but this is the first time that Immortals are bringing out the Diana Yasuo composition on stage. When their back is against the wall, they are ready to give Chad the tools to carry the game.
What a way to do it. It's actually hilarious. Earlier on in the season, actually at the end of the Academy season, had a chance to grab lunch with some of the Immortals Academy players and their coach Nightshare. Was chatting with them. Pretty was saying, y'all never let me play my Yasuo. How come like the coach won't let me draft it? They don't trust me, because we were talking about funny like side picks. They're going for the Yasuo. Pretty gets his opportunity against Spyrax on the Ahri, who's been absolutely crushing this game. But you know what Yasuo does well? Stopping those charm flanks. So Spyrax is going to have a much harder time of actually getting in now that you're into this matchup.
So we'll see how he actually performs on this champion, right? He hasn't played it so far this season, but we know he's played it plenty of times in the past. And it feels like the rest of the team is just going for a very stock standard style, right? You have the Jinx going over for Wild Turtle, continuing to be his most played. He's played it 3 times today, and I think he's... Oh, he won the first one.
Yeah,
right?
then he struggled in the second half. And again, this is not a composition that plays around the Jinx necessarily. It's a composition that plays around the Yasuo. So I'm surprised to see them going for this instead of something like the Xayah for themselves. But let's see what their next pick is, because maybe that'll answer more questions. It won't be the Renata Glass. It won't be the Mundo for Concept, but I would still like to see a frontline. Somebody to be tanky and help heal for this Jinx.
It's either a support or Urgot are the two things I can think
This
of.
could work.
And Joey, well, he's going to be going with the cow. He was okay last game.
He had really creative flanks. I actually like.
He had some really good flanks. Yeah. I think that's something that he can continue to recreate this time, but they're just really doubling down on the Yasuo kind of play, right? Absolutely creating a ton of knock-up opportunities for Pretty to play off of. And as FlyQuest, they recognize, maybe we should take away one of them.
Yep.
Maybe we should take the Gragas off the table so you can't find another way for Concept to just get this big old flank. It feels like FlyQuest have a lot of tools to try and dodge it, but they have to be on their toes. If you are slacking for even a single second, you can get wiped.
Hey, if you thought the series was boring by any stretch, I don't think you can say the same now. This Game 4 draft is getting spicy. The Gragas takeaway, blind pick in the top lane for Philip. Concept might have an answer, and it's Morgana locked in as well, so Morgana Xayah can really shut down that Alistar, and here we go! Concept's back on the Singe, baby!
Oh boy, this is something we got to see a little bit early on in the season, but it hasn't been coming out. Every single member, other than Jinx, on the side of Immortals can knock somebody up. You can get Pretty to jump off of every single one of them, and this is Immortals putting their eggs in the Pretty basket. And for this player that's coming in from Europe, he's had a lot of opportunity to play. He played on Mad Lions, he played on the Vodafone Giants, he was able to go to EU Masters 3 splits straight in 2019 and 2020 before he came over here. So this is a fantastic opportunity to showcase why he's been one of these highly priced imports for Immortals Academy.
I can hear Coach Nightshare from Immortals Academy right now. Guys, we're playing comfort. We're playing our game of League of Legends. Concept on his Singed, one of the first kind of off-meta tank picks he picked in the top lane early in the season when they were struggling to pick up wins, and he was their kind of role player, or rather, during their stretch where they were getting wins, he was on this one. And then Joey back at the Alistar, something that he has liked to pull out every now and then. Wild Turtle right back to the Jinx, and plus that Yasuo combo. Let's see if it works for Immortals. Back still against the wall.
I'm a little bit sad that, you know, at this rate, we're probably not going to see Philip's Aatrox, but something that I thought that was really interesting when I was talking to him earlier on was I asked him, how do you feel about your matchup up against Concept? And he said, you know, we have very different playstyles and champion pools, so it's going to be how hard I can actually punish some of the weird things that he's going to be looking to play. And this is absolutely one of them, but I don't think the Gragas is particularly well equipped to deal with it. Yeah,
Gragas can maybe just look to wave clear, but if Chad's up there with Pretty and they can look for ganks, Philip could have some trouble. I think Philip, most of his job this game will probably just be explosive cast for kiting, maybe engaging as well. But they don't have necessarily this hard engage button, this way to say we are starting the fight now, other than these skill shots to throw out. So 2-1 for FlyQuest Academy. Can they get across the finish line here, or will the very unique draft from Immortals give us a game 5?
And it's important to remember, if this was the best of 3, if these guys had met in a prior round, it would have been FlyQuest already winning, right? This is the kind of pressure that FlyQuest are looking to put on. They're just fighting a little bit better. Tomo and Spyrax both having fantastic series thus far. And as we start to line up, you're noticing that FlyQuest is like, I don't feel like allowing Yuji to get invaded for a 3rd game in a row, getting some defensive wards down. They do not want to make the same mistakes. And
little do they know, it's a Diana. You can't invade with Diana.
Well, you could try.
Sure. And knowing Chad, he probably would be the type of jungler to try. And the supports also cleared out some of these wards here.
Oh, that's very sad for Joey. That's going to be a little bit of extra experience and that ward advantage still going over towards FlyQuest. But look at the trading already coming through as Tomo and Wild Turtle slap each other.
Wild Turtle's actually walking very far up here, feeling really confident with his lethal tempo and that extra bit of damage.
So, going to be A-okay at the end of the day. Remember that Tomo and Diamond have consistently been looking for these opportunities to win early on in this laning phase. And I don't expect anything to really change now that they're playing double range into Alistar. Oh boy, the
big trade onto Turtle there. Yeah, observers, let's just keep watching this. This seems like fun down here as these bot laners. Level 1 are hard trading. Wild Turtle has to back.
Yeah, that is brutal. He has no heal. He doesn't have any potions to rely on. So that's going to be a large CS lead going over to Tomo early on in the game. But I also want to give this FlyQuest roster a little bit more praise, right? Tomo and Diamond were part of the FlyQuest Academy roster that won the 2021 summer, right? They were part of the roster that actually got brought up to have opportunities to play in the LCS because of how well they were doing. And I feel like the veterancy that he's been bringing to this roster is really starting to showcase when he's beating up the only player that I could say is more veteran. I guess Diamond as well, but just absolutely taking control of this bottom lane.
Yeah, it's Wild Turtle, everybody. This guy's played in LCS for how many years? And Tomo's showing that he can do great against him.
Uh-oh, it's Yuji's turn.
Looks at Chad. He says, hey, this is revenge, buddy. Remember me, all the level 1s? Yuji actually gets the blue buff with his smite. Chad just smited for health. That's Flash out of Diana.
Oh my gosh, and Yuji turning the tables this time around. Chad forced out of his own jungle, and that is so bad. So much of their series has been Yuji playing from behind, but it is Yuji who is now in control of the map on the Lee Sin. We'll see how much more he can press Chad around, but this is a huge advantage compared to what FlyQuest we're seeing early on.
Exactly. It's a flash out of Chad, but it's also the Diana delayed. She's not necessarily a jungler that thrives until you're level 6. That's when you can actually look for plays, look for these big engages, and delaying that means that, hey, FlyQuest have control around probably this first dragon if they really want to go for it. They already have the shove bot. The Arya to the Yasuo can get some good shove. We could see early dragon stacking from FlyQuest.
Yeah, we're not seeing the same kind of dragon stacking this time around as we saw last series, again, between Team Liquid Academy and Golden Guardians. And we have to kind of keep track of how these teams are going to be playing up against the rest of the field, because the winner of this will play against the winner of Cloud9 and 100 Thieves, and both of them have been looking fantastic.
Ooh, Chad up here in the top lane. Onto Philip. He can't flash through the goop. He's grounded. He can't even get to his turret. Now flashes Chad under there, but the poison from Concept will get first blood to Immortals.
Good stuff coming through from Concept, making sure that he can prevent Philip from doing anything. It feels like one of these situations where Philip wasn't quite ready for the Singed counter pick, and honestly, most people wouldn't be. It's not something that anybody else plays but Concept. So it is a good look for Chad and Concept. They're not falling behind this at least too far at this point. But Yuji is going to continue living in Chad's jungle.
Look at this build from Concept. He actually went the Darksteel first, gets double stacks. Chad, after flashing, picked up the Darksteel, gets a stack on that. And now with the first back, Concept has his Predator boots and the Blasting Wand. This is actually massive for the Singed.
That's a lot of damage that's going to be coming through, right? And Chad doing the exact same thing, right? He gets his own Blasting Wand. They're looking to find a lot of damage. They're looking to burst people out. And if you're in a situation where you are up against the wall and you have champions who can do this kind of burst, you might as well do it, because you want to be able to take down the other team. You don't want to give them an opportunity for a counterplay. And I love the fact that Immortals are here to play.
They are not going to go silently into the night. They will go kicking and screaming, and hopefully in Game 5, if they do. They're trying their best to get there right now. The bottom lane's still not going any better, though. So while we do see Concept getting this lead top, you know, he has a little farm advantage. Oh, Yuji. That's so sad. But we do see still Tomo constantly shoving in Wild Turtle, who just goes for another recall here.
Yeah. That is really brutal. The lethality Zaya being played by Tomo. We saw him play earlier on, and he was just able to grind down Concept and Chad. They were playing Urgot Volibear previously. Oh,
it's just rude from Concept. Just proxying the wave and living in the enemy jungle. That's kind of what you have to worry about against the Singed matchup. Spyrax. Oh, that wasn't the charm. I believe that was the Orb of Deception that was just wind walled, but he is low on mana, so I don't know if he can get much more.
Yeah, getting Manaless champed right now.
Oh wait, they can.
Oh.
No Spirit Rush for Spyrax, but Phillips here. The Explosive Cast not quite where he wanted it to be. And Concept, he can just tank this turret and run away. Huge! Oh, the sidestep with Ghost movement speed. Concept gets out.
That was confidence. That's the kind of confidence you get from playing a ton of Singed over the years, right? To walk under the turret, know that as long as you dodge the Q, you are going to be A-okay. Concept just goes super deep right underneath the base, and he ends up getting out. But Yuji still going to be in a small lead in terms of his farm advantage over where Chad is. And we know that he's been playing this champion quite a bit. It's his most played throughout the season, and it was his most played before, and he's just been willing to blind pick it every single time. We'll see if he can continue showing us why you want to give UG this champion.
I mean, we saw it in the last game when he landed big kick onto Wild Turtle to close it out.
Bam.
And now he has the opportunity to do it again, because of course Wild Turtle back on that Jinx, still behind about 2 waves. So it's still interesting to see this kind of seesaw on the map right now. In favor of Immortals on the top half, in favor of FlyQuest on the bottom half. And with this dragon up, FlyQuest did not go for that early dragon stacking like I had expected from them. They're gonna maybe look at it now.
Yeah. Tornado landed onto Pretty in the mid lane, but I also feel like one of the big things to know.
Oh,
nice
good flash from Spyrax,
nice.
And the kick from Yuji! Pretty lands the ultimate, but it doesn't mean much, except for a trade of kills. Pretty still low on health bar. Spyrax doesn't have the Spirit Rush, so actually can't go forward here. Pretty should be fine. Really well done by Yuji, though.
Great stuff from Yuji, and good stuff from Spyrax to keep themselves alive. I was just expecting that to be a total win for Immortals, but FlyQuest not going to be letting that happen. The reflexes coming through from Spyrax are honestly really impressive, because Chad just goes in, flash E, and as soon as he sees him, backs away. So great stuff to come through from Spyrax to keep himself alive, showing he doesn't only have the target selection, but also fantastic threat assessment.
It's impressive that Pretty was still able to turn that around, though. This Yasuo getting a kill is pretty impactful. Up in CS over the Ahri. Now with that gold from the kill, it could be difficult for FlyQuest to actually answer this Yasuo now.
We'll see how well he's actually able to perform, because he does have a lot of knockups that can be played around, right? You have literally everybody but Wild Turtle can set things up for him, but we haven't necessarily seen it just quite yet. And while it's winning the lane, it's not necessarily the easiest thing to pilot, because you rely on other people to get your first opportunity to jump into these fights.
UG bot side right now. Also watching Chad, just tracking the junglers in the jungle right now on the minimap. Chad, I believe, was spotted there, and UG should be spotted off of that ward. So they know where each other are, but UG doesn't know that Chad stayed around. He's just playing bodyguard right now, checking the dragon. I'm not quite sure what the game plan is.
Oh, UG will know that that went the other direction.
Ooh, I like that. Using the dragon as a scout. Hit it, walk away. It aggroes into the nearest enemy member. And that means that you know that Chad was there. Now you see Chad in the mid lane. So actually, no, they still didn't see Chad in the mid lane. UG's just doing this blind.
Yeah, but I mean, he knows when the dragon started coming towards him, there's no more Chad that he has to deal with. And I love the confidence, the sneaky play that's going to be coming through from UG in order to actually pick up this dragon. And Immortals are going to be bamboozled, right? They had no idea that UG was going to be doing that. And UG's going to be able to clear out some of this vision as well. I feel like this is one of the most cerebral plays we've seen from any of our junglers so far.
Chad,
okay, no flash from Spyrax.
If Pretty sets it up first, Chad can follow it and provide that extra bit of damage. But Spyrax plays that pretty safe. It was a late dragon. It was a good dragon, but a late dragon. So the stacking is delayed, and now Chad's on the Herald here. It's just both junglers playing to which side of the map has the pushing power, which side of the map is ahead.
Yeah. And I feel like it's a little generous to say the concept is super far ahead. I mean, he's got a very small lead. I definitely feel like Tomo and Diamond have gotten a bigger lead, but UG doesn't know that Pretty's here.
Doesn't know that Joey's here. The Pulverize into the last Whisper. There we go. Last breath onto UG. He's stunned over the wall. Still alive. Flashes to safety and gets out. Immortals cannot find the kill onto the enemy jungler.
Yeah. Good stuff from Yuji to actually keep himself alive. Joey going for the long flank once again. Finds an opportunity. But that leaves Tomo and Wild Turtle alone. And Tomo's been winning this.
Look at Tomo. Literally, he's got a full item completed. The good flash from Wild Turtle, but there's just no way, right? The Xayah should have the damage. There's just no way, right? Oh, Tomo goes down. Wild Turtle trades 1-for-1.
Turtle still showcasing some little bit of fancy feet coming out on this Jinx, able to actually trade there. I didn't think there was an opportunity to do it, but so many minions in the wave. Wild Turtle is willing to stand his ground, and so the game remains relatively even. Kangas, I feel like we've said this before, the lead that we currently see on our screen means basically nothing. There's no real opportunity for either team to instantly win off of this, but the players that we're going to be looking at, one, Yuji. He's actually got more gold now than he has in any other early game for FlyQuest. Two, Pretty. Pretty's got so much gold on this Yasuo. He's got so many people that he can play around. It's all about whether or not he can pick his moments.
This is the biggest moment for Immortals mid laner because not just himself being fed, but also Spyrex not being fed. Spyrex has not been able to get much done in this game. Now, what's popping off in the later stages of the game so far this series, finding these flanks, finding these team fight picks, but it's just so much harder against this wind wall, as we see still Pretty just hard shoving in these waves, looking for all this chip damage on this turret, has actually managed to take against the Ahri. Not necessarily what you expect with the wave clear of the ranged mage mid laner.
I mean, I think it's a little bit of unfamiliarity, but we'll see more of that as Chad looking for Tomo.
Yeah, he knows that there's no ultimate because of the earlier 1v1. And that is a kill picked up. Wild Turtle gifted that one. And even with Pretty nearby, do they look to go for more? Joey can set up a big play. He has the ultimate available. Pyrex is here, Yuji as well. So Immortals, they don't necessarily want to go for it. Yuji just says, all right, I see Wild Turtle alone. I'm gonna solo kill him. Then Chad's even losing to Pyrex over here. What is happening to Immortals? They have overstayed. They have been outplayed heavily. But Pretty looks for more. He does at least pick up one out of Spyrex. In a precarious position, hit with the root. Yuji's on him. Pretty's dead. He doesn't even land the knock-up. Yuji with the smooth plays.
Oh, that just feels like style at this point, right? Using the W to dodge out on the tornado. Yuji once again stepping up, and it feels like the leads that come in for these players don't matter. It feels like we're watching an LPL game and everybody's just looking for fights.
Philip doesn't have ultimate. Okay, no, Concept should be fine. Yeah, these fights have been so close from both sides. It looked like Immortal should have had that. I hope we get a chance to look at a replay of that one in particular because, again, this keeps happening to Immortals. Everybody just runs away from Wild Turtle.
Yeah. Take a look at the replay. We are going to see just Chad looking for these opportunities, knowing there's nothing for Tomo to actually do. But the really impressive thing for me is Yuji recognizing that Wild Turtle is too far away. The team is not playing around him, and he can solo him out. And after that, he just keeps on going. He knows that as this leads in, he's got the Conqueror stacked up. He can just go for all these really long fights. And while he's not able to take down the cow, he's just able to come through. And this is just, you know, a little bit of style, right?
Yeah.
Did he need to do that? Probably not.
It was really clutch and
cool.
Pretty to flash the charm there. I didn't catch it in the moment. He actually flashes Spyrex's charm to get that kill, and then almost maybe could have gotten that outplay. If that knockup lands onto Yuji, you land another Steel Tempest and get that heal. You probably could survive that. So on the knife's edge.
Yeah. So I'm looking a little bit more into how much Pretty has actually played this Yasuo in his lifetime. This is actually his third ever game on the champion. He's won both of the other ones with a 7.5 KDA, and I'm curious to see how much more he's going to be doing. And still looking for an aggressive play.
Let's see if they can keep it up. The mid turret falls. Herald will go for another one. Oh, the
No
black shield!
way!
It expired right as Concept was there. That's the pick out of Spyrex. That is tier 2 turret getting threatened right now. Yuji actually goes in. Yuji, that was insanity right there, but he survives it just for long enough. Tomo's joined in. They get Pretty. 1 for 2 trade, but Phillips routing Chad. Chad cannot get out. He's got to go on his spot.
Oh, he gets one.
He got him. Diamond's down. Even if Chad dies, you did your job. Well done, Immortals.
Yeah, Immortals really finding their way out, but can they get even more than that? Wild Turtle and Joey are over here next to the Dragon, but it feels like FlyQuest should be the first ones to actually kind of respond to it. And again, these gold leads are just constantly in flux, Kangas. We're seeing both teams just go for fights, and the player that we haven't seen a whole lot just quite yet is Bill so far today, or excuse me, in this game, right? He's still looking for his ways to get back in. But as we take a look at this, the big thing to note is that Tomo is going to absolutely shred these fights apart if he's able to participate. If he can find that pocket that we keep referring to, he will do so much damage because there's no true front line on the side of Immortals. And the only thing that Immortals can really do in order to prevent him from free hitting like that is Wind Wall. Well, now that's a pretty big tool to use, but there's so many other tools you also need to be ready to win with.
And Pretty's always going to be windwalling that charm, you would imagine, but Philip here has a trap laid for Pretty. Oh, Yuji hits the Sonic Wave onto a minion. Wait, I don't even know how that minion got it. I think that was the explosive cast that knocked it over. So Pretty's fine. Concept teleports in. Chad's here. Now Immortals are chasing down. There's still Black Shield available. Diamond, okay, pops at the last second, and they get out. That was precarious.
Yeah. I mean, good stuff coming in from Immortals to instantly respond to the attack, and they should be rewarding themselves with this Dragon. But it's going to be traded up in the top side as well, as I think Spike should be able to pick up the entire turret. But Philip needs to be careful.
Yes, play safe, doesn't actually go for the kill. Dragon picked up by Immortals Academy. Spyrax getting some work done here. Nice gold influx into the Ahri, who, again, based on the performances we've seen on this Ahri pick, we kind of have grown accustomed to Spyrax popping off now. But getting this counter pick pretty on the Yasuo. Immortals Academy, they're looking to bring us to a game 5 here, Joshi. We might actually get a full series based on what we've seen so far.
True. Okay, Chad's coming down. Everybody on Immortals is coming down. Both teams are ready to fight.
They don't realize that there's 2 members of FlyQuest right here. Big Dark Binding onto Pretty. Diamond lands it, but still the last breath lands. And Immortals can look for more. Yuji's down, the hero of FlyQuest. And Diamond is all alone. Immortals can easily pick up this one. And to give it to Wild Turtle. Immortals, again, their mid laner playing that so well.
They're a bit faster to come to all these plays, right? Spyrax and Toma were on their way, but they weren't able to get in range. And Immortals, that's not something we've typically been looking at with them. That's what FlyQuest has been doing a little bit better throughout the entire day. Immortals, finally, when they recognize that they need to be playing to win, they are playing to win. They are all over FlyQuest every single time.
Let's look at the replay here. It's the Dark Binding, but Yuji doesn't go straight onto Pretty. And then the knockups land, and Pretty gets the last breath.
Yeah. I mean, Chad also holding the ultimate as well gives him the time that he needs to actually allow the Dark Binding to time out. And once you find that, once you find the combo, it is way more deadly than either piece all on its own. So I love the fact that Immortals are not just playing to win, but they're playing with their heads. They're looking for these opportunities, and it's making it harder and harder for Spyrax to find his way in if it always feels like a win rolls up.
And earlier we were saying the gold lead doesn't matter, gold lead doesn't matter. That's because it was like 500. But now we finally see Immortals Academy with a 3,000 gold lead. This is substantial. A lot of that chunk is on Pretty, and also on Concept, who, keep in mind, wasn't even like there. And he's still going to be a menace with the Rylai's completed, the Demonic completed. Doesn't even have a legendary at him. Oh, Joey.
Cool.
Wait a minute. Spots who? Joey spots him. There we go. Pick out a Diamond. Has the stopwatch. Does Immortals go too far? No, they still get Diamond. Even out of the stopwatch, now onto Tomo. Feather Recall back, lot of damage. Like you said, he do be shredding. Wild Turtle's excited though, gets the double kill. Yuji did not get in range of the Dragon's Rage. Uses onto Pretty instead. Take down the Yasuo. Now focus Wild Turtle. He's low, but he's not low enough. Wild Turtle's got it. The excited movement speed kites it perfectly.
Great stuff coming through. Wild Turtle finding every bit of damage he possibly could in that last fight. And it feels like FlyQuest, they're getting a little bit better about dealing with the Yasuo. They're finding ways to deal with some of the knockups. The stopwatchers are starting to come through on more members, but they aren't able to react to that and also deal with the Jinx. They're finding the resets for Wild Turtle. They're finding that first kill, and we said they needed to do it. It was the Syndra was the answer last time, but it wasn't good enough. And here, we get to see bits and pieces of why both compositions are so scary. Tomo can't really go down, right? As long as he has the ultimate, as long as he has the flash, he can keep a lot of space, and it's only Wild Turtle flashing forward that can bring him down.
Well, he also preemptively used the Xayah ultimate.
Yeah.
He expected Chad to go in, so he used it a little too early, and then Chad's like, all right, just gonna wait it out, and now I go in. And even though Tomo still gets his massive damage back, yeah, you gotta time that correctly. Now, it's a bigger lead for Immortals Academy. Wild Turtle is fed. 2 items completed on the Jinx.
Yeah. The one other thing I would say is that Philip and Yuji got to be careful about using their ultimates at the same time. As they are hitting this, they jump over the wall, and FlyQuest have no idea.
No way.
They're going to do this.
Okay, they spotted.
They spotted.
Ooh, that was actually really heads up from FlyQuest Academy to actually throw that out. Now Spyrax goes in. That's Windwall down.
The charm.
This is the charm. Really well done from Pretty positioning, but he's just buying time. Spyrax laser spot time for Yuji to show up. Black Shield onto Philip, but Concept is running around. He is very fast, so it's just a pick for FlyQuest.
That's still pretty good. That's still money that is being picked up as FlyQuest looking for opportunities. It's not just these kills that they can play for. If they can keep Immortals off the map, they have had slightly better setups across the series than Immortals have when we're actually looking at playing for this upcoming Dragon. And they're missing a couple of crucial ultimates, right? But so is Concept. He is not going to have it. There's no flash on Pretty, no sums on Wild Turtle. You have very clear targets that you can play around.
Now we're setting up with this Dragon potentially. Chad spotting out FlyQuest in the jungle here. Dragon's got 10 seconds and FlyQuest control the approach. I think that this should just be free.
Looks like it will be. Yeah, Immortals not going to be walking over. FlyQuest not hitting.
Oh,
it's not up
going
just
for
quite
an
yet.
engage. Looking at Chad. Explosive Cask is still available. Oh, Chad sidesteps it. Philip doesn't land. He sidesteps the charm. Chad! Oh, that was beautiful.
Great stuff from Chad, just dodging out everything, just understanding when to press the S key, and that's going to mean that the Dragon's going to be going over to not FlyQuest like we thought, but Immortals, as Chad single-handedly outplays both Philip and Spyrex and sets up his team for success.
He literally had Flash too, and he holds it. He had that much faith. He's like, no, I got this, I'm fine, I'm going to sidestep everything. You know, I don't need to panic Flash over this Raptor pit. And that, like you said, that's second Dragon to Immortals Academy now, and hey, it's going to be a Mountain Soul. You said before, they don't necessarily have like this big armor stacking front line, but having that extra shield will definitely mitigate some of that lethality Xayah damage.
Oh, for sure. So we'll see. I feel like this, 3,000 gold lead is right on the verge of where it's like, this might be a real lead. But we've seen larger leads so far that haven't necessarily meant anything between these two teams. And as, the top laners kind of scuffle. They both have a lot of health that you're going to have to burn through if you ever want to take them down. It's going to be a matter of how the rest of the teams are setting up. Can Spyrex mark the targets that he needs to? Can Tomo keep himself alive from Chad as he actually gets hit by a skill shot?
Chad, yeah, hit by the Dark Binding. Max range. Now Yuji going forward, the Rage kick. Freddy and Chad are low on health now. They're going to have to back away, probably reset, but I don't know if FlyQuest Academy really get much done for that.
Yeah.
Oh, Tomo actually slowed there. Joey's looking for the engage. The Black Shield goes out a little late. Tomo has to throw out the ultimate. Wild Turtle doesn't get the snipe, the zap. So you break it down the rocket. Very close on Tomo. Tomo just barely alive. Now Concept chase. He knows that there's no Black Shield anymore. Oh, it just came off cooldown. Diamond actually has it. Saving the flash over the wall. Diamond safe.
Okay. But again, it's so touch and go between these two teams. And I feel like I really like what we've seen from this game, putting all of the tools into Chad, Pretty, and Wild Turtle. Some of these players that have had these really big moments throughout the season. Wild Turtle, I mean, I feel kind of like we're watching when he first came in and had that pentakill when he was playing for TSM all those years ago, where he's just like, I am ready to play, I'm ready to pop off, and don't worry, I'm going to be able to make all of the plays that I need to.
So
this is the first time they've done it.
So far, it's not been engaged on by FlyQuest Academy. That's crucial.
Yeah.
FlyQuest have not been finding these angles onto the Jinx. Wild Turtle's positioning for these fights has been much better, save for that one time that Yuji got onto him in the bottom lane. And that's the consistency that we're hoping from Wild Turtle. Stay alive in fights, output that damage. But I also want to take time just to remind everybody about Pretty. The story behind this player. Coming in, an Oceanic player, played in Greece, and now he also has, had a kind of stumbling career in Academy North America, if we're being honest about how last year went. He had expectations for himself. He said, look, I'm going to spend one split in Academy, and then I'm in LCS. And hey, here we are a year later, but these are the kinds of performances that he has been known for. If he can find this consistently, if he can be the reason that Immortals come back into the series, that would be a hell of a story for him.
Yeah, I don't want to curse him, but I've also seen like crazy performances from him. He literally got a pentakill earlier this season, and fortunately they weren't able to close out when they were going up against CLG. And when these games are as topsy-turvy as we've been seeing, he's going to have to continue making these big plays. It's not enough to just do the one. But at the same time, I want to also give props to Chad, because Chad is one of these players that's also fairly new, but Joey with these crazy flanks.
He's looking for another one as a Tomo. X-Flash used. Tomo has the ultimate, has to throw it out now. He could be in trouble, but Chad with the engage! And the follow-up from Pretty. Immortals finally find it, but Wild Turtle's down. FlyQuest Academy, they got the carry, but Tomo's knocked right back in. Flipped by Concept. Chad, the defending Proving Grounds champion on Immortals Academy, finds the engage.
Exactly. The defending Proving Grounds champion, like you said, everybody was so focused, and he knows everybody's focused on Tomo. He knows they're not looking at themselves. They are so focused on keeping their AD carry alive that he can jump into the middle of them. And FlyQuest, they're going to have to give over this Baron. There's nothing that Diamond and Philip can do. They don't even get this turret, and I feel like Immortals are poised to take it to a game 5.
Baron secured, they win the team fight as well, and Dragon's coming up here in just under a minute. Very simple for them to reset, but let's take a look at this engage here.
Yeah.
Watch Chad.
Yeah, they are all so focused on what Tomo is doing, and Chad is able to attack them all at once. Even with the stopwatches buying them a lot of time, Tomo ends up just going too far forward. He goes outside of the pocket, he ends up going down, and the rest of FlyQuest are crumbling. 5,000 gold lead, one of the largest gold leads we've seen this entire series before the game actually ends. And Immortals, they're just gonna go over, they're gonna pick up this Mountain Dragon and then use the rest of the Baron to try and take down the game. But the thing is, Kangas, they have to dive. They do not have a way to siege down these turrets. The wave clear is too strong from FlyQuest.
Maybe the Baron Empowered Cannon minions could be enough for them to start taking down some of the health bars, but I echo that sentiment. It can be tough to actually finish the deal. FlyQuest are approaching right now. Look at all these wards they have to clear. Immortals know exactly where they are.
When the Dragon goes down, Joey once again trying to create space on the other side, sees them trying to walk in, and he does get spotted on this ward.
He's all alone, but even if they engage on him, he's got the ultimate, and Immortals are there to back him up. So, dangerous prospect. FlyQuest, they're still on vision. Everybody from Immortals, they know where they are, and Joey with these Hex Flashes is always willing to go in.
Yeah. Spyrax going to be trying to wave clear on one lane. Tomo going to be doing it on another, but when he goes so far forward, look at where Philip has to play in order to make sure there are no flanks coming through. That only Chad can try and jump in over the wall, trying to create some pressure onto Tomo. And the players that I was hoping to have big games here towards the end for Immortals, like Chad, Pretty, and Wild Turtle, they're starting to do it. They're really starting to level up.
I still want to throw a concept in there. Like, we haven't really seen much of this Singed as the siege continues here from Immortals. They might even look for a dive. Like, we just got to need to be careful with concept. He's here. He could look for the flank. Spyrax is here as well, but yeah, just focus the turret. Like, FlyQuest cannot walk up. Maybe they can defend these inhib turrets, but that's the best they can look for. But the point is, concept has just been silently creating pressure on the map. He has yet to die. 3 items completed on this Singe, and I don't think anybody from FlyQuest can, like, realistically get onto him.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the things that he's done throughout so many of these games, is finding these slow leads. And Pretty with the QSS, still looking for an opportunity to come in. But Concept is one of the players that's also interesting, because he hasn't had the same kind of long career that some of our other players have, even in the amateur space. He started last year, right, with Revival, and then ended up playing for AoE for a little while before joining Immortals.
And he's had a really good start on Immortal so far. Yeah. He started off, like we said earlier on in the series, he was a role player for the team. He played the tanks. Yeah. He just played the front line. He would play silly things like Mundo and Scion, and then sometimes pull out the Singed. But then now he's showing growth. He's played the Camille. Yeah. He's played some of these carries as well, and he can still go back to the Singed.
He was a weird role player, but he was a role player, right?
He was wacky. He was zany. He's like the Wukong Urgot guy. It's like, haha, yeah, you want that guy at the party. You need one, right?
You do need one. I actually was really impressed. I hope we get to see his Wukong, because he's only ever counterpicked it throughout the season so far. But it's the kind of thing where if you're convinced it's good, the coach is going to let you play it. But this is a situation where he's still creating pressure on the sides of the map. He does have a small lead, and he's got the 10-stack Dark Seal. So as he looks for more opportunities to play, I'm kind of expecting him to go to actually push a wave and then use the incredible movement speed of that Predator plus the Ghost plus the ultimate to just run in and pick one target, force a Black Shield, and allow Chad to hit everybody else.
I'm waiting for the Mejais, man. When's that coming up? I feel like he's got the gold. He's just saving it for Zonias. He's probably going to look to use the stopwatch in the next fight after the reset, get the Zonias. And here's the flash engage straight onto Tomo. Good response, though. Ooh, Joey has to go into the stopwatch, and FlyQuest have repositioned correctly. Tomo had to flash there, but they have not died yet. Immortals have the wave to play with, though. They're pushing it in.
That's damage coming through as we are seeing FlyQuest on a bit of an awkward spot. Spyrax having to use the ult, Tomo having to use the ult, but they will be here in time. But are they going to be set up to prevent a dive and this turret just going down?
Tomo's got to play very safe. Like, he cannot walk up. He doesn't have ult. He doesn't have flash. And because of all these snap engage that Immortals have, FlyQuest just have to give over everything. They lose their inhibitor, and Immortals understanding how much pressure they can put. They don't need a siege. If they just have the inside track, they can burst down these turrets.
They're now backing away. They're getting so much control. It feels like FlyQuest are in a spot where they just have to rely on individual outplays. It was Spyrax so far from most of the series. Tomo had so many kills last game. they don't have a ton of agency. They don't have a ton of tools from which you actually pick people. It's basically a charm, and then Eugene and Philip can find individuals, but it's not like they have these great fights where they can wombo combo Immortals.
Yoshi, I wish you could see my knee on my foot right now because it is tapping furiously. This game is giving me anxiety. This series is giving me anxiety. Immortals Academy backs against the wall. And there's the measure for concept. He did it. I'm just noticing now.
He had the gold.
He's got the gold. Might as well lock it in. And it could come down to this Dragon Soul fight here. If FlyQuest give that over, it's going to be so impossible to kill anybody on the side of Immortals.
Yeah, their damage is just a little bit low. They are so focused on picking individual members, but they are getting tanky enough with the 2 mountains already. They're not going down.
Look at the flank. He's so creative. He always finds the way in, and he's right onto the carry. That is Diamond down. Now everybody else in FlyQuest, they go forward. Tomo's in a 1v1 on his own, and Immortals are just shredding them apart. An easy win set up by Joey. This man's been to MSI. This man subbed into LCS. This man delivers under pressure. Immortals with a clean ace will push in, and we're going to game 5.
Joey coming up at the very last spot that he needs to. You said it right, Kingers. There is nothing that he can't do at this point. These big flanks that he's constantly going for finally finds the one that he needs. Tomo has no flash. They get on top of him, and Pretty is able to run him down. Pretty asks, why aren't you letting me play the Yasuo? Now we have to ask, why weren't you letting him play the Yasuo earlier? This looks absolutely sick.
What was the problem with it? What was the problem with the Yasuo, Nightshare? Come on. Pretty on the Yasuo, pulling it off. Absolutely insane performance, Yoshi. Crazy stuff. The Immortals are bringing us to game number 5 here with such a unique draft. This was like the quintessential Immortals draft other than Pretty on the Yasuo, but now we might need to add that to his wheelhouse of champions too.
True. Yeah, I mean, he's played so many different champions. He's played more uniques in this series than any other person except for maybe Diamond, who's played so many one-ofs that it's hard to keep track of. But the only thing that we have to remember is they're not going to get to do that again. They're not going to be able to play the Yasuo. It is so easy for FlyQuest to just be like, well, that didn't work. Bye. We'll see what else you have in the tank. And now that you've shown, I don't want to call it a cheese strategy because it's a very legitimate way to play the game. But it's the kind of thing where if you can just remove one piece from it and it falls apart, it makes it very hard to recreate in future games.
I mean, we've already mentioned when the Yasuo is locked in, FlyQuest Academy play that too. So maybe it becomes a contested pick depending on who's on blue side. I mean, come on, man. You never know. But
you never know.
That's game 4, everybody. We're going to game 5. We'll get the silver scrapes here as elimination is on the line for these 2 teams. An entire split. All of spring is leading up to this next game. We're going to send it to a short break before we bring back Rafa. We'll see you there.